Hi guys, welcome to the flute practice. We are really doing something different today. We are going to be needing to use our full bodies today. Today is really just about calming down, bringing our bodies into balance and just keeping everything cool. So here is our exercise. We are going to basically just bring our bodies into alignment. You're welcome to pick up your flute afterwards and play something when your body is feeling really nice and balanced and kind of just free. It's such an awesome feeling, and for some of you, you might find a huge improvement in your tone just doing this pretty simple exercise. Simple but not easy. I always say these exercises are usually simple but not easy, so this can be challenging. I'm going to walk us through this step by step. Okay, so I need you guys to be able to see most of my body here today. I'm not showing my feet and my lovely purple slippers down there, but I'm hopefully just going to walk you through the foot process. Before we start, just find a semi-quiet-ish space where you can just kind of find the space to really find your alignment here today. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to just stand. You can choose either hip width apart, or you can stand in that flute stance already, still sort of hip width or shoulder width apart, and you're going to feel those feet kind of just spreading out onto the ground a little bit. So you're really going to feel the ground under your feet. I like to think specifically of my kind of toes sort of just spreading out a little bit, because often we kind of tend to clench and grip our toes. So just feel them spreading out nicely. And you're going to feel the full weight of your body going nicely through the center of your foot like it was designed to do. You're now going to bring the awareness up to your knees. You're just going to, maybe your knees are locked back like this, they're tight, so maybe you just want to unlock them. You might even want to bend them to the other extreme. Just bring some movement there and sort of wiggle them, just finding something that is in between where they're not locked but also not bent. So we're just looking for something where they're free to move, but they're still kind of dynamic, so they're able to kind of dynamically move in that space without being stuck. I really want to just point out as we're doing this, there is no such thing as the position or the posture. This is really about finding movement. So as we do these exercises, I want you, instead of thinking of finding the new position, I have found the relaxed position. No, just find movement within that position. So allow those knees to move a little bit, even the feet. Allow the weight to just shift across the foot until you find something that feels like a nice balanced spot. Balance does not mean still and stuck. Okay, now here's the big challenge, is our hips. And I'm going to spend a little bit of time here because this is one of the biggest things that I see, is this kind of jutting out hip thing where we kind of lean forward into our hips and usually overarch that lower back. Now there's a couple of things you can think about here. One of the things you can think about is just releasing your butt. So you're literally going to unclench this and just release it. And that should hopefully automatically already release those hips. The other thing you can think about here, this is why I've got this chair behind me, is it's kind of, just imagine you're just about to sit down. So you're just about to take a seat. So just, you could even get a chair and sit down, but you're just about to do that. So you're really leading from your hips to sit down. So you're not kind of like leaning back like this to sit down, like that would be crazy. We're not going to do that. So we're literally just from the hips, we would sit like this. And this is the feeling we want to have a little bit of. Guys, we're not wanting to do this and play like this. That's crazy as well. It's just a little bit of a feeling of sitting. Sometimes it feels to me a little bit like I'm almost like riding on a horse is nice. There's kind of like a little bit of a bounce in the hips. For any of you who enjoy dancing, this could be also that feeling of where you are just kind of dancing along to a beat. Okay, so we can just find there nice things to do. You could do nice little hip rotations, so little figure of eights. You could explore with the feeling those hips more back, more forward, just finding that spot where you will feel especially kind of your thigh and butt muscles just release. For some of you, it's actually going to feel like you're almost leaning a bit forward. So your hip's going to tilt from being like this, it's going to tilt to being a little bit more like this, so that the front of your hip bones almost feel a little bit more tilted forward. Just look in a mirror. And it's the most incredible thing to watch when you have that slightly more tilted hip feeling, and then you look in the mirror and you think you're leaning forward like this, and you look and you're like, whoa, okay, I'm just perfectly up straight. So we're just looking for this feeling. I cannot overemphasize how important these guys are, your hips. Your hip joints are actually more in there than they are up here, but this is such an important feeling of really releasing these joints and the knees, Because without it, if we are tight here, we're kind of cutting off our body and our support somewhere around here. If you try and breathe, you can lock your knees, lock your hips, and then try and breathe. And then release your knees and see if you can find that nice released hip feeling. And now breathe. Oh, it's like chalk and cheese. It's such a different experience. So this is really important stuff. Really, really, really important. Another way to find this hip release is to just imagine you're about to take a step, or actually take a step. It's one of the reasons I love to tell people to walk around and play, because you cannot, once again, have tight hips and knees and walk. You're going to waddle like a penguin. So just release and walk. And you'll see that feeling. It's like a small kind of just drop, and there we are. We're back to our feet. Let's just recap. We've got our feet. We're feeling those toes nicely spreading on the ground. We're releasing those knees. We're feeling those hips just releasing. Maybe you're just releasing those butt cheeks and just kind of letting them release. Feeling those hips. Maybe you're getting a little bit of that sitting feeling. Maybe you're just bouncing there gently. Good stuff. Now we're going to focus on your abdomen, on your belly. Now, the most wonderfully amazing thing, and you will see this if you look at any kind of diagrams, is that we have this absolutely beautiful spine, lumbar spine, that goes right through our kind of torso. And it's like this wonderfully kind of thick tree trunk that goes through your body. It is so amazing. And so we really want to feel this structure in that part of our body. We really want to feel this lovely kind of stabilizing spine structure in the center of our body, right over here. So if I'm kind of showing you, it's kind of where the seams of my clothing are. That just kind of in the middle there, obviously, that is where this amazing spine sits. So just feel that, and feel that going into your hips, into your knees, and into your feet. And at this point, we want to start really thinking of this line that goes from our feet, through our knees, through our hip joints, through our spine, nicely just finding a dynamic line. Like once again, we don't want to draw a straight line and be like, I am now straight. That's not it. We are just finding that alignment. And now we are going to bring our focus up to our shoulders. For some of you, it's going to be a feeling of just feeling kind of an opening here. A movement specialist I work with, she spoke about this beautiful picture with these angel wings, and imagining these beautiful angel wings behind you. Sometimes that's a lovely image to hold on to. For some of you, it's going to just be this feeling of these kind of gliding, floating shoulders, not lifted up or tense, just released and gently hanging and resting over the top of the body. Now, one of my absolutely favorite exercises that I got from a body mapping specialist actually is an exercise where you're going to take your hand and you're going to put it on the ball of your head. So really on that sort of round part of your head where if you were kind of leaning against a wall, your head would almost touch against that part. So really there. Some of you have ponytails or buns in, it'll be that spot. You're going to put your hand there and you're just going to feel the lovely warmth of your hand. Try and release your shoulders when you do this. Don't tense up. You might want to just constantly go back to your feet, feel those knees, feel those hips, that lovely spine, release those shoulders. And you're just going to feel that nice warmth of your hand. And just feeling that nice, beautiful, you can even stroke it a bit if you like, that lovely long neck at the back here, just releasing. And for some of you, you might also want to just release your jaw. Sometimes the jaw can kind of clench up like that as well, and we can have some tension. So you might just want to release that jaw as you feel the nice warmth of your hand on the back of your head. And now what you're going to do is you're going to gently glide that hand down, but feel that indent of the hand in your head there still. So just feel that indent and just feel that head nicely finding a balance over your feet, knees, hips, torso and shoulders. And the spine that goes kind of just behind your ears here in this lovely neck that forms your neck, it goes down. That we're just feeling that nicely over our shoulders and over the rest of our body. If you're struggling to find it, just put that hand there again. Just get your hand up there again and just feel that spot. Once again, here, guys, there's no like one magic spot where you're suddenly in balance. This is really about finding a scope of balance, and you might want to just keep things moving and just check in with wherever you might feel a bit of tension, anything kind of creeping in, you just want to check in. Now I'm going to just quickly grab my instrument because here comes the magic. So if we found this lovely balance, and if you pick up your instrument now, just quickly do a scan again through your body, from your feet all the way up, Finding this, you can hold your instrument in one hand, put your hand here on the back of your head, feel that. Make sure you don't arch your back as you lift your arm. Keep that back free, glide it down and just feel that hand. Now what I'm going to do, and this is really important, I'm looking in the direction of my body. I'm going to gently pivot my head over to the side so that I can make space to lift that flute. So I don't want to kind of twist the whole body. I just want to pivot that head. So I'm looking in this direction, gently pivoting my head. If you are standing sort of face on like this, you're going to now just gently turn your head over this way. So in other words, you're going to maybe even just move your feet ever so slightly just to shift kind of into your flute position. I'm standing here, turning over, releasing my hips. Those are always the quickest to go for me. Those immediately want to go into a lock position. Releasing. And now there's a couple of approaches here. Sometimes it's lovely to kind of bring your flute forward and around just so that we don't kind of crank it up. A lovely one is to come from up above, where you're just going to really bring that flute up, find that lovely position and bring it down to you. Release those elbows down, so we don't want to leave those elbows up, just release. Just let those shoulders release. And maybe before you play now, you're just going to do a quick scan again. Feet, feel those feet, let those toes unclench. Knees, release them, release those hips. And maybe you want to just go back, feel the hand on top of the head here. Just feel that released. And now, all you're going to do is just play a really simple, beautiful scale. Nothing fancy. Just enjoy the feeling of some freedom. Maybe there's still tension. Maybe you're like, I'm not getting this 100%. Guys, this is a journey and a process, and it's just about becoming more and more aware of the little patterns of tension that build up. Like I'm straight away aware, my shoulders get a bit tense and my hips get a bit tense. So as I pick up, I'm just going to put awareness there and allow those to release. This is quite seriously your challenge for today, guys. Just release, let go, open up. Have a beautiful day. It's a day just to take it slow, take a few breaths in and enjoy this absolutely gorgeous instrument that we have.